make their own choices, and see what it's like without you in their life is such a good way to just make this happen now and help them realize what their choice is to keep mom out of life and only have dad, right? Then let them have that and see what that's like without you there at all. Don't keep contacting them. Don't keep trying, but let them know how much you love them and ask for what you want. And if you don't get it, we got to start accepting it. And please don't do that alone. I'm so sorry. And happy Mother's Day. I'm sorry. Get support, okay? Find support however you can. Not just the people in your life, but hire it. That's what they're there for. This is going to cause depression, I'm sure. So take care of yourself. There's all kinds of things you can do to help. The little things really do add up. And we have to force positivity. None of this has to be forever. But right now it's your loss, and we're going to grieve it and try to accept it and start expressing it, okay? Good luck. I'm so sorry again. Rory from Ohio. My husband only wants kids in name only, like a trophy, I guess. Makes sense how, because if he was more like a 5-year-old himself, how could he co-parent? He actually would make things worse when things came up. Thank you for responding to our comments. It helps a lot. You're welcome, Rory. I'm glad that you see that. You can't have a child co-parent another child with you, can they? They're a child themselves. It's almost like they're siblings. He may even get envious and jealous of them for your attention and other people's attention. Leave us love. Yes, David, I think I understand what you are implying. You stated my emotional needs were not met. And yes, I am of a character that doesn't want to upset and disappoint others. And I think the relationship I had with my father caused me to follow rules and never go outside what was expected of me. However, the role model of marriages that I witnessed growing up were good, solid relationships where fathers didn't deceive and cheat on their partners. Of course, this expectation of me caused me to stick it out through an unhappy marriage where I was holding on desperately to the moments. Yeah, but I think what's more importantly is it was probably neglectful. If you were neglected your emotional needs, which you can just look them up and see, it's easier to do that with somebody else. But if you were in a neglectful relationship, you're probably in a neglectful childhood. They may have neglected your emotional needs. Okay, and then they probably neglected each other's emotional needs. And so we learned to stay in relationships that have problems. Don't fix them. That's codependent relationships, okay? There is so much more to relationships than just to healthy relationships than it just doesn't deceive and cheat on people. It's like, well, I don't hit my wife or cheat on her or lie. So it's good, it's healthy. No. There's emotional needs we have to have met, all of them, okay? And the reason we get in these relationships where our emotional needs aren't met is because our childhood, we didn't meet our emotional needs. I promise that, okay? There's nobody that has their emotional needs, let's say about 10, all of them that they believe are their needs, that they haven't met all through childhood, and now all of a sudden, now we're in relationships where they aren't met at all. And we're not even aware of this or understand it. No, it just doesn't happen. Never seen it happen, okay? So that will help you even more. Check out your emotional needs. Dive into them because they are the most important thing in your life. And if you don't have them met, then you can't be healthy. It's just like not eating, not sleeping, not drinking water. Not having our physical needs met means we're dying. And emotional needs are more important to us. Pretty crazy, huh? And your parents are just teachers. It's nothing against them. If they didn't meet your emotional needs, then theirs weren't met in childhood and they have not learned what this means yet. Okay? Thank you. Hello, David. Oh, Emily from Latvia. Hello, Emily. Hello, David. I hope you and your family is feeling well. I started to date someone and find it difficult to navigate in relationships as I have been in toxic relationships all my life. When would be optimal time to assume that rose-tinted glass period is over? I just want this idealization time to be over. Okay, that's how you feel, right? You don't like it. Those are your boundaries, and you need to communicate those with this person. If they don't understand, we pull back. We keep trying to make them understand, but we have to fix this feeling. It's up to you. It's going too fast. It's too much idealization. Not good. It doesn't feel good. Okay, so we got to slow this down. Tell him how you feel, and tell him, ask for what you want. Maybe you only want to see him or talk to him once a week. Okay? Let him know, and if he says that's not enough for me, we part ways. Do you understand? We've got to be able to pull that whenever we need to, especially in brand new relationships where somebody's making us feel anxious, rushed. They don't value the same values we have. But the best recommendation I have for you is to hire a professional to help you navigate through this, because we don't want to keep making this same mistake, right? But we always go by how we feel. Boundaries are a measure of how we feel. Boundaries are saying, hey, that's too fast. Slow down. Back up. Right? Or, hey, I don't know where you've been. That's not enough. I need you more. I love you and I want you to tell me you love me, so come closer. It's boundaries, right? It's the Goldilocks area, right? Where it's not too warm, not too cold. Perfect. And they only know this by communicating. And if they don't listen and they don't understand and they don't respect, that's our feelings. That's who we are. And then you're finding out that not everybody does. So let's not have those type of people in our life. Okay? Sounds like you're being rushed. And it can cause anxiety, right? Think about how it feels. Think about why it feels that way. And then ask yourself what you can do about that. Okay? And I think I said what you can do. Thank you. Good to hear from you. And I hope this relationship turns out well. But more importantly, whether it does or doesn't, I hope you're happy and feel good. Okay? Thanks. Lawrence from Ohio. Hello, Lawrence. How do I move on and trust someone again? Thanks in advance. I work in mental health and your videos are so enlightening. Thank you, Lawrence, very much. Get a dog. It'll literally help you trust again. But what we need to realize is before we trust someone, we have to trust ourselves. And what that means, Lawrence, is if you were in an abusive, traumatic relationship, it absolutely was not your fault at all. How anybody treats you or mistreats you is not your fault. Their fault. But we didn't know how to manage through this, did we? We weren't prepared by our parents, okay? And so we've got to learn how to do this. And then our brain, which isn't who we are, starts to trust who we are and lets us take over instead of looking everywhere for danger and saying, God, watch out, this person's going to hurt us. And that means I don't know how to defend myself. I don't know how to communicate and form, healthy boundaries. So how do I move on and trust someone again? Well, we don't move on, we move through, right? So what are you doing to heal from your past relationship? Think about what you're doing and what more could you do? Professional help, number one. I really don't think people can do this on their own. It's an amazing thing to do on your own, because not only do you have to make yourself feel better, you have to totally understand what happened. You have to totally know what a healthy relationship is. And so you become healthy and then have healthy relationships. I don't know how anyone can do that by just trying to help themselves feel better or work out. You know what I mean? We trust ourselves. We know what a healthy relationship looks like, and we totally understand how to do that. Okay? But healing from our past is the only way we can have healthy relationships now. It's the only way. Hello, Aaron from Texas. Hello, Aaron. I watched 4 of your videos all on narcissism. After watching this one, I went to look more into the PTSD vids. For healing, I'm definitely in a healing process. I feel I've only begun and have such a long way to go. I totally understand your narcissism spectrum point of view and feel both my parents are up there. I am 24 with a 4-year-old son. First grandchild, by the way. It wasn't until I became a parent that I had to face and stand up to my parents. It's really so hard. And all the while having to recognize similar traits that I carry. I'm trying to rebuild myself for the sake of myself, but mostly for my son. I fear I won't do enough. Any advice? Yeah, thank you, Aaron. And yeah, I do have a lot of PTSD videos, healing from it. And they're my best videos, the most informative. Therapy, heal from our past, learn what a healthy relationship looks like, and that means emotional needs have to be met for both sides. When you learn how to do this, Aaron, you'll then be able to teach your child. Okay? Parents are our teachers, and they can only teach what they know. If you have found yourself in neglectful relationships in adulthood, then that means that your childhood was somewhat neglectful, and that means that your teachers didn't know how to teach you, didn't meet your needs because they don't know how. That's usually the problem. I mean, parents don't know how to meet your emotional needs and go, no, I know how to do it very well, but screw them, I don't want to. They just don't know how. Typically, okay? So we got to learn how to manage the relationship with your parents, okay? And if it feels bad, we have to do it better. We have to make sure it feels good. You don't have to have relationships with anybody. So I hope that you want to, and hope that you realize that you have the ability to have a healthy relationship with them. If they are not capable of having healthy relationships, think twice about pursuing one with them, okay? Professional help. Heal from your past. And if you believe that your child needs some child therapy, get them in child therapy. It can be both so beneficial for a child so that they can talk about your ex. So they can talk about their father instead of doing it with their mother. Children don't like to do that sometimes. So they can talk about you with someone healthy and not feel like they're betraying you. So they can get these emotions and feelings out and about and talk about them and learn how to manage them. You may not know how to do that all for them. So a professional really helps them do that, okay? No matter what you do, do it with love. Unconditional love. It doesn't matter how bad they are, and it doesn't matter if they're not smart enough or they're not good enough in any way. It doesn't matter. You love them no matter what, and you show that, and you tell them, and you don't threaten them, and you don't become violent, and you don't talk bad about anybody. You don't share or break their trust, okay? They are equal. It's just some things they can't do because they're not tall enough or old enough yet. We got to keep them safe. Other than that, they are equal, okay? And so good parents, the best parents, is the healthiest person they can be, making mistakes and learning from them and apologizing, okay? That's the best parent. I hope that helps. Professional help is always the best. And there's so much information out there for you to learn how to be a better parent. Books and books and books and exercises and things like this. And you said, thank you so much. And if you could possibly include a few tips on how to seek out a good therapist without having to go through more damage, please and thank you. Yeah, we got to find a therapist that we trust. And that might include booking a session with a therapist. One session, okay? Each time, think about it. Give yourself a little time. Book another one with another one until we find the one that at least you can trust. But let's talk about being in a specialty, right? A special niche. You know, in psychology, there's so many different avenues you can go down. And there might be so many different problems we seek out therapists, okay? There's several different kinds of talk therapy. Which one do you need? What are the problems? How do you feel? What do you want? Be very clear on that. If you're talking about emotional trauma, find a trauma specialist, right? We don't go to a foot doctor for a heart problem. Real important. And they should help you understand how they're going to help you with this, okay? But we've got to give them a chance. Someone that we feel like we can trust. Give them a chance and do everything they tell you to do first before you give up. Because they know better. They've been trained and they've gone to school and they know how to help people probably better than you do. And it's always easier for them to help you more than you might be able to help yourself, okay? So we find someone that we believe we can trust in an area, a specific area that is the help that you need. And we give them a chance, talk to them, meet them, and do everything they say to do first. Give them a shot, okay? Thank you. Willa, hello Willa. From New Jersey, how do you make peace with all the years wasted being entangled with a toxic person? And I say we learn everything we can until we realize it was necessary and not a waste of time. As I went through stages of healing, and as you guys go through stages of healing, the experience at first is so unbelievable. I can't handle it. It's traumatic. I can hardly even explain it. I don't know what happened. This is so awful and so horrible. There's such horrible people out there. The world is a bad, dark place. As we move on, we say, well, it's okay. You know, I'm okay now. I feel better about it. And then you start to understand why it happened. And you understand, and the more you understand, the less that person becomes bad, the less they become scary, and they just become sick. And then hopefully at some point, Willa, we really appreciate that experience. And I don't expect that to take overnight. It could take years to where we realize that this was necessary. That we didn't learn what we needed to learn, and now we learn the hard way, but at least we learn. And we learn by experiences and by making mistakes. It's perfect. Hope that helps. Good to see you, Willa. And happy Mother's Day for your little pets. Hi, David Lynn from the United States. I continue to enjoy your videos and learn something new with each one. Thank you. One of the big patterns between many relationships you describe is that narcissists are takers and codependents are givers. Narcissists are codependent too. It's co. Would you be opposed to doing more in-depth video comparing and contrasting relationship based on attachment versus a relationship based on love? It seems as though attachment relationships focus on what we get, whereas real, authentic, loving relationships focus on what we give through generosity. And it's a two-way street. So it's about reciprocation. We don't put in all the effort, right? So, you know, a husband, maybe the husband is the only breadwinner, right? And the wife may have children that she takes care of, the house, the finances, all these things that she's doing, and he's the only one making the money. Well, then he comes home and shares that money with her, period. Because he gets to enjoy the house. And see, we're finding and forming some kind of reciprocative relationship, and that's what's awfully important. Attachment happens in every relationship, okay? We are going to eventually attach. Human beings attach. And you said, is it based on attachment or love? Well, love has attachment. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Whereas maybe there's no love in a relationship that's codependent and just dependent, and it's all about that I'm attached. But there's way more to that. I have made several videos about this, and I will definitely continue to make more. Thank you very much. Keep asking me questions. You say you explain things so well, and I really appreciate that your content focuses on growth and well-being and not simply ruminating over what happened to many of us. Thank you. And you're talking about attachment issues, that it's not love. Yes, you could have attached relationships where it's really not love. It's just total dependency, right? And that's typical when you have somebody who is like the weaker one and can't take care of themselves. Maybe they're sick, they're a victim, they have an addiction, they have a personality disorder, right? And that's not reciprocative. They can't reciprocate, right? And so we're going to attach, but there's no reciprocation. It's like you just don't exist. It's all about them and their needs. And thank you, Lynn. What you said is awfully nice. Thanks. Shiraz from Israel. Hello, Shiraz. First of all, thank you so much. You gave to what I have been through a name. Make me feel like someone sees me and know how to help me and find myself again. Great. Thank you, Shiraz. My question, after 2 years that I'm not in an abusive relationship, but I have a very scary thought. I felt strong emotional feeling and attraction to that person in this relationship. Can I feel strong feeling that in a healthy relationship too? Yes, it's different. Okay. And I get this. This is very great. Great question. Here's the best saying, one of the best sayings I've ever heard, but that really applies to this. We date our own emotional self-worth. So if I'm unhealthy and I'm used to not having my needs met and I've been traumatized and I've been abused and I have some low self-worth, I'm going to meet someone like that too. The narcissist, the borderline, the sociopath, okay? But that was very exciting. We were neglected in childhood and we didn't have unconditional love, so it felt bad. And when we finally meet somebody that we think is unconditional love, because they just sit there and just idealize us, tell us how amazing we were, and I love you so much, and jump right in. Whoa, our hormones go woo, and that feels amazing. You finally got unconditional love. I'm filling this void of not enough love with somebody else, and it feels amazing. Will you have that same feeling in a healthy relationship? No. It's not as intense. It's slower. It's slower. And then over time, we really get to know who the person is and we become attracted to who they are, because you didn't know who the narcissist is till after, right? So you didn't really get attracted to who they are. In a healthy relationship where we are healthy, where we have higher boundaries, where we feel good, where we're no longer traumatized, we are now attracting and attracted to somebody else like that. When we're unhealthy, healthy people are boring. Period. When we're unhealthy, unhealthy people feel amazing. When we're healthy, unhealthy people feel horrible. When we're healthy, healthy people feel amazing. And it's not just hormonal. It's more. It's better. You start to really see a future with this person, very attracted to who they are, and you just want to get to know them more and more. You don't have to just have sex, or just go out and party and drink and make out and, you know, sex and cuddling. That's what I hear the most from codependent people. I hope that makes sense. Thank you for asking, Shraz. Please keep asking more questions. Let me know what you think. Thanks. And Renee, this is the last question, guys. Renee from Wisconsin. Hello, Renee. I went no contact for 1.5 years after the discard. The past weekend, I ran into my ex at random places. First at the gas station. Just look up and he is right there. Second, went to a random place and had a family lunch to celebrate my birthday. Happy birthday. Who walks in? But him and his girl. They sat at the bar and continued to keep looking over at our table. It was super uncomfortable. I carried on like it didn't bother me. We left and went outside with our family to play mini golf. A couple hours later, my kids and I went home. My daughter and her friend were outside and outside of the house riding bicycles. She came to tell me how he drove by with the same girl in his truck. Drove up a block, turned around and drove by her again. So at what point is this stalking? Do you think because I didn't respond and acted like seeing him at a restaurant made him angry to the point that he felt the need to do a drive-by? Is this common? I don't know if it's common. I mean, there's nothing normal about these relationships, right? So is this a common thing that happens in these abnormal relationships? Yeah, because what this is, the psychology behind this is he is denying, rejecting his depression. Loss, failed relationships, losing people forces us to introspect, look inside deep into who we are. You guys do that, right? What could I have done? What should I have done? Who am I? I've had patterns of like this. We start doing this. That's what we do. And it can cause, and usually doesn't have to, usually causes depression. If this person is a narcissist, that means he hates himself. That means he totally rejects himself and says, here's me way down there and I won't show anybody. I won't ever peek into who that is. I'll reject it and I'm going to form my own false self. This is what I want people to believe I am. That's what you have believed he is. That's what the new girlfriend believes he is. It's all a charade. Great for him. But he's forced to introspect because of losing you. Doesn't matter who you are, how he feels about you. You were in his life and he lost you and he's got a failed relationship. And instead of introspecting and looking at himself because he hates himself and seeing and accepting depression, which hurts too much for him, he denies it. He denies it by dating right away. He's dependent and needs somebody else, some new girl. Make me feel better. Okay. No. And then he probably tells her how bad you are instead of just accepting that he made a damn mistake or that he abused you. Right? Another one he does it is by staying there, looking at you, looking at Facebooks. We do that sometimes, right? We look at their Facebooks, look at their Facebooks. Because the depression, the loss hurts, and sometimes we don't even accept it. Sometimes we stay in the first part of grieving, shock or denial. And that's where he's at. It's unbelievable. And I can't believe how sick she is that she would be involved in this. You're just past relationship you just had. And there she is. There's the new girl. There's the old girlfriend. There's the old girlfriend. I mean, what's he doing? Just telling her all about you and stuff? You know, go to a damn therapist. You don't jump right in a relationship and he's brought you into their new relationship. He might say your name more than he says her name. He's not facing the depression because it hurts too much because he absolutely hates himself. So he won't look at himself. And this is what it looks like. Pretty sick, pretty disgusting. If he's not violent and he's never hurt you or threatens to hurt people or anything like that, he probably won't. He's literally just doing this to not feel depressed because it hurts too much for him. He can't look at himself. I'm sorry he does it. You can always get a lawyer to write him a letter, cease and desist, and it wouldn't hurt to document all of this, okay? Real simple. Timestamp, day and time, what he did, how it felt. Really important. And if you want, you can always go down to the police station and file a police report. It's nothing against him. They're not going to investigate it. He won't know. It's to document it. If this continues, now you've got a series of documented events, police reports, list of what happened. He keeps doing this. And now we're getting somewhere. Just in case. It might make you feel better. Okay. But also realize sometimes you just can't do anything about things, okay? And if he's not violent and things like this, it sounds like he's just dealing with his own depression, which is not dealing with it. Okay? Thanks, guys. That's all the questions today. I hope those helped. I hope my answers helped. I loved the feedback, and I love to know if they helped. And please keep asking me questions, okay? Anybody that wants coaching, you can find me at daviddemars.com, right down there below, right there. And love yourself first, okay, people? Happy Mother's Day. I hope everyone was okay yesterday. I'll see you next week. Take care of yourself. Love yourself first. Bye.